Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Only Stupid Answers. This is the show where we answer your questions about movies, TV shows, comic books, board games, and a whole bunch of other things. I am DJ Wooldridge. With me, as always, is Roxy Stryer, and today we have a very special guest. Josh, say hi to the kid in the home.
Hey, everybody. It's Josh Macuga. I'm so excited to be here.
That was such a cute Josh Macuga voice. Hey, everybody. Hey, Josh.
Hey,
that
guys.
Sounds like somebody who made a board game. Yeah.
That sounds like a board game creator. Josh, you were here for a very specific reason because your pals over at GPA, you and your pals over at GPA have made a board game called Futility that is on Kickstarter right now.
Correct. This is our first Kickstarter experience. DJ, I know you've done a few Kickstarters, so you know this rigmarole. It has been awesome so far. So, quick story, Futility, the actual game of living, it's up on Kickstarter right now. I think that how DJ started the show is a perfect thing of Futility. It's like, Roxy, it's not a quarter life, it's midlife. Good luck to making it to 60 would be a part of Futility, the actual game of living. So basically when we were launching the Good People Association, we were doing this big live stream to get members, and we were thinking of things we should do. And I said, well, we should play a board game. And they were like, well, what do you want to play? Ken said Uno and whatever. And I was like, no. I think we should just make up our own board game. How hard could it be? And they were like, well, what would it be? And I was like, well, it's like you land on a space and you pull up the thing. It's like, oh man, your wife's cheating on you, go back 5 spaces. And they're like, so the game of life? And I was like, no. Like a funnier version of the game of life, a not so outdated version of the game of life. And so and then I was like, well, we can add the cards. Then it sort of just turned into an elevator pitch. Cards Against Humanity meets the game of life.
Love it.
Okay. And so I can't write that on anything, but
I can't, God forbid any of that ends up on the box. We will be in trouble.
Right. But so it basically, and then we started like working on rules and working on, meeples. And then this guy, Sebastian Fila, he's from Uruguay down in South America. He's a fan of the GPA. He and his buddies build Kickstarters for a living. Cool. They made us the video, all the graphics, everything they're doing. Like we are hand in hand right now, making this happen. And Sebastian, Aldo, and Bruno down in Uruguay have been crushing it for us. On this.
I didn't know that was a job that you could have, was building Kickstarters. That's cool.
Yeah, they do a hell of a job. They've done it for like 5 or 6 different campaigns, all board games. Mm-hmm. They're working on their own board game right now. Currently, let me just go check. Let me just refresh it. We are at $15,731.
Hell yeah.
Whoa!
Over halfway to our $30,000 goal. 217 backers. We've got some awesome stretch goals lined up because how the game works is that the board will pretty much always be the same. Maybe down the line, we do some like specialty boards, whatever, like a Monopoly kind of situation where you can do Pittsburgh Monopoly or Boston Monopoly or DJ, where are you from? You're from Southern California, right?
No, I moved around a lot, but most recently before California, I'm from Tampa, Florida.
Tampa.
Oh, right. Yeah. Tampa, so exciting.
Gorgeous.
He doesn't like to talk about it very often.
No. I don't like to think about it very much.
You guys do have a Super Bowl.
We do. Listen, we got some people from the Patriots, and now we're great.
Yeah, you did. Sorry,
Thank you again for that, DJ.
Listen, it wasn't my call. I was in the budget meetings, but I wasn't. They didn't take my advice, and they were right to not.
It's good to see that the Steelers and the Patriots are just average. Nothing quite like it. We've got some awesome stretch goals, all of like the expansion packs along the game. So with the game, you'll get the game board, you'll get 400 cards, 500 cards, 200 blues, 200 reds, and then 100 futility cards. And basically the goal of the game is to make your way around the board and then into the center of the board to reach your destiny, which when you pull the card, it could be like hosting a podcast that somebody actually sponsored, making a living doing what I love, Futility, or like move to Tampa, everything's great. Bug bit me. It's a little buggier than I thought. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
All the cards have, funny anecdotes, and you can get rewarded for bad things happening. You can get penalized for bad things happening. I think what makes the board different is there's arrows that if you land on it, send you back and in the opposite direction. There's road construction, which we know comes up in life and it just ruins your day. You're late for a meeting. There's some stupid road construction. You don't know why. Boom, you hit it. and you earn destiny checks as you go around. So classic board game with a modern twist. I think it could be a drinking game as well. If you're looking for something to do fun with friends on a game night, have dinner, play Futility. It's about a 2-hour game playthrough, so it's not going to take you all night, and it's a ton of fun.
So it's not Monopoly, is what you're saying.
It is not Monopoly.
Okay.
And that was the goal.
I don't know that much about Kickstarter. So how does this work then, Josh? If you hit your goal, you get to make the board game, or what?
Correct. So
okay.
Our goal is 30,000. If you back it at the $40 level, you get the game. Right? That's it. After the Kickstarter, we will have to ask you for shipping, especially, international is way too expensive. In the United States, it will only be about $6 to $7 for shipping. So nothing crazy. If you want to order the packs individually, we're probably going to set up an Amazon store. And you could, possibly, if you want to print out the game and put it on a thing, that'll be just as expensive if you just order the game. I promise you, I've looked into it. At the $100 level, you get the game and the expansion packs when we hit those expansion goals. And then at the $500 level, which I think is amazing, is you get your likeness drawn on the box forever.
That's super
cool.
cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So if you go at the $500 level, which we might open up some more $500 levels. Like, let's just say you and your friends got together. We could put all 4 or 5 of you on the box. We want it to look like the community that actually created Futility happen on the box forever.
That's so cool.
Yeah. As our friend Christy McGee said, she's like, it's a great icebreaker. I'm on a board game. Let's play it.
That is a really solid icebreaker. So for people that want to support it, where can they find it?
You can go to Kickstarter. It's just Futility, the actual game of living. And you can find it there on Kickstarter. You can go to me on Twitter at Josh Macuga. I tweet about it pretty much every single day. And on our Instagram at the Good People Association, at Good People GPA is our Twitter, Instagram, and then the Good People Association on YouTube. We're doing a huge live stream tonight. So depending on when you're listening or watching this, if you're watching it live, it'd be tonight, Friday, September 24th. And we're going to start from 4 and go till about 10 to try and hit that $20,000 mark. And then, finally hit that $30,000 goal. We have 30 some days left, 33 days left. You
got some time.
34 days left. So we're doing well. We are making moves.
But listen,
go ahead, DJ.
But listen, don't wait till the last minute to go support. All right, you want to get in there. There's going to be some limited tiers. You want to get them quick. You want to get it. Don't miss it. Also, you want to help them reach their thresholds. Get in there now.
Yes. Thank you, DJ. Thank you.
I want to know how you came up with the name.
So Ken, myself, were just kind of like, pitching this idea around. Ken didn't see it at first. I don't want to take creative, but it was my idea to do this video game or to do this board game. And then Ken was like, I don't think I see it. And I was like, no. It's like, so I ordered a board off Amazon, like a blank board. And I basically built this board and I brought it in and Ken was like, it's just confusing enough to work. And I was like, yeah. So the first playthrough was weird. But as far as the name goes, I was like, I don't know. It seems like it would just be, it's like the game of life, but is it living? Is it what if we just called it actually living? And Ken was like, that's terrible. I was like, yeah, you're right. What if we call it everything is futile? And he was like, what if we just called it Futility? I was like, yes.
Well, and if you think about it, best board games, the single name word, you got Monopoly, you got Clue, you got
Yahtzee.
You know what I mean?
Uno, Parcheesi. Something like that.
What was the surgery one?
Operation.
Bingo.
Operation. So
we gave that a whirl and I won.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's
I got
hard.
really steady hands.
Oh man, I do not. So Futility, and then the actual game of living for that comedy aspect of it. And we've done a bunch of playthroughs of it to figure it out, but we are very confident with where the rules and everything are now. And Futility! !
Boom.
Love that.
Go to Kickstarter, go check it out. We're going to be, later in the episode, we're going to be talking about our favorite board games and what makes a good board game. So we're going to be diving into all of that. But before we do that, we're going to go do a little bit of an ad break. Here's some ads.
Hit it.
Welcome back to the show. You missed out on a conversation because of ads. But how could you have gotten the conversation? By going to patreon.com/onlystupidanswer and watching the show live, or listening to the full show, the full podcast episode on Patreon. That's that. So, Josh, we have you here because you were talking about futility earlier, and we wanted to talk about board games. And we got a lot. We mentioned on our Discord, and we got a lot of great responses. People have a lot of passionate love for board games. We got STS 2084. Can you count Cards Against Humanity or Red Flags as board game? If not, favorite board game is a little known one called Worst Case Scenario Survival Game. That gave you dangerous scenarios and you had to figure out how to get out of them. Do you guys, Brenda says, do you guys fuck with Monopoly? Because in theory, I would love to play a game with my friends, but it never ends well.
Yeah, never.
Ryan McCoy, is favorite board games are probably Risk, Monopoly, or Sorry. I play them over the holidays with family. So we got a lot of, we got Z-Roll says Risk. STS 2084 says Monopoly Junior is the only acceptable way to play. There's a hard out built in. Boiler
Have
Huff.
you guys played Monopoly? It's like Monopoly, but in card form.
No.
It's called like Monopoly Press or something. I don't know. It's like Monopoly with another word, but it's just cards. It's actually pretty entertaining too. My buddy,
you know that because you were doing research for your board game, or no?
No, I mean the reason I did Futility was to harken back to the board games I loved to play as a kid with a modern, funny twist that could be like adult game night. Because you go on these like friend trips to say like a Big Bear or like a summer trip or whatever. Like, what should we do tonight? We're like, it's either just you drink all night and do something, or I'm in charge of entertainment. So like I'll do a big Josh party for everybody in the house, or we'll play some sort of drinking game or whatever. But if you were to able to like take a cool board game, put a little adult twist on it, your night would be together. Because Cards Against Humanity has gotten boring and it's a little weird, right? It's more of like an opinion-based thing than it is an actual competition, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hate judged sports, right? Give me a race, give me a score. I don't want like the Russian judge saying he didn't like my dive, right? So Futility is that game. I'm just taking it back to an old school board game. There's not too many moving parts. You don't need it's not like Gloomhaven where it's a box that's like this big, or like Settlers of Catan. Not that there's anything wrong with those games. They're so fun, but it is a night of your night. It's like a 5 to 6 hour gameplay, all that kind of stuff. Very different. It's an adult version of a classic board game.
I love it. So when it comes to, what are some of your favorite, what do you think some of the best board games are? What are some of your favorites? What do you think some of the best are?
So the reason I did the board like I did is because my family every summer on vacation would have cutthroat games of Parcheesi, like a tournament. Nice. And my dad was the commissioner, and we one time called Parker Brothers to talk to somebody that may or may not know rules on Parcheesi because a rule had been brought up, and family were walking away from games. Like, my family is very competitive. And so that's why I was inspired. I was inspired by Parcheesi to add like a funny comedic twist.
Yeah. I like that a lot. What about you, Roxy? What are some of your favorite board games?
My favorite board game growing up was called Spy Alley. Have either of you guys ever heard of that?
No, but it sounds great.
It's kind of like Clue, but with spies. And you get your identity at the beginning, and you're either like the spy of the game. You have to find like who is the spy of the game, and every one of them is like a French woman, one of them is a German man. They're from all over the world, and you go around and you have to get these like passports and things. It's really fun.
Okay.
But I have to tell you guys something.
Okay.
Ooh, tell us.
Spy Alley.
This is going to be, while we're on the musicals, we've spoken about musicals today. I was in a theater troupe growing up where they would have original musicals, and this woman, Kippy and Sissa, would make these musicals, and we would perform them. And I was in one called Monopoly. And so
Marvin Gardens. Yeah. Marvin Gardens.
This goes Monopoly. Do. It was the roll. Everything determined by the dice.
Oh, that brings me so much joy.
Is it better than Evan Hansen, or do I not need to watch this?
That brings me so much joy.
I have to tell you guys, every time you guys have said Monopoly so far, I have flashbacks.
It's like Nom. It's your Nom. You just can't revisit it.
You guys just picture like little 8-year-old Roxy coming out, there were people dressed as like park place, and everybody who like auditioned for it gets a role because it's an ensemble piece. And some of the people who go, they look so regal, and they get to be. And I was like street boy or something, like ripped. Like,
no, you were
dirt
Baltic.
on my face.
Yeah, in Baltic, right? Yeah,
sure.
Because you know what Monopoly is based off, right? What city it's based off of? It's based off Atlantic City in New Jersey.
Perfect.
All those streets
that makes sense.
exist.
Yeah.
And if you go down Baltic Avenue these days, you might get shot. It is not a safe city. It is very, very.
So that was
not
me.
safe.
That was me.
Shout out to Atlantic City, who just showed up in an episode of What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, it was so good.
It was such a fucking good episode. It was so
God,
great.
that show is so funny.
It's so amazing.
My God.
Also, Monopoly, if I recall correctly, I believe it was originally designed like around the Depression era. Like, yeah, I'm going to make a game that shows everybody what's wrong with capitalism.
Correct.
And boy, howdy, did that not work out.
It backfired.
It backfired hard because you get that feeling today when you play it. I don't really have the patience for Monopoly, but I'm actually pretty good at it. When you play it, you're like, wait, am I the bad guy? Like, wait, this feels like this is
the Monopoly man is literally a villain.
Yeah,
he's a villain. He's an oil tycoon villain.
J.K. Simmons as the Monopoly man in Monopoly the movie. For me, so I'm pretty good at Monopoly, even though I don't like that much. I'm pretty good at Scrabble, but I'm a big Clue guy.
Clue.
Yeah, Clue's great.
Clue's a lot of fun. And
love Spy Alley.
Also, great movie. Yeah, I definitely want to check out Spy Alley, Roxy. That actually sounds like a blast. That sounds like way up my alley. Also, man, I should bust out Battleship. I remember loving that as a kid.
Do you
Talk
guys
about it.
count like something like Battleship as a board game? Like, is Twister a board game? Is Battleship a board game?
Yes.
I guess if you play on a board.
So would you call Guess Who?
Yes.
Would Guess Who be a board game?
Yes.
Connect Four is a board game?
Correct.
So you guys are calling those boards?
Correct.
I'm going to defer to Josh on
I
this
think
one.
it's a physical device on which you play. So it's a board game.
But card games are not board games, and
Correct.
Twister's board is bigger. So not
Twister is
Well, it's
a
a mat.
physical competition.
Yes, it is a physical competition. Also, I mean, if you foreplay, if you do it right. Anyway,
I won that when we gave it a whirl too. I'm a
boom.
Boom.
So we got some questions for you, Josh.
Okay.
As our resident board game master, Ryan McCoy asks, is there a dream collab you would want to have for Futility? For example, Marvel or Batman Monopoly? Like, would you want like Batman Futility? You could have a lot of fun with that one.
Yes. I love the idea of the expansion packs being like, okay, now this is the Gotham expansion pack, right? And it's kind of like, oh, drove the Batmobile straight through a bank, no insurance to cover it.
Yep.
Everything's ruined, right? Taking like the funny aspect of it, turning it into a Batman. Yes, I love that kind of situation. One of the expansion packs, we're announcing 2 other expansion packs tonight on the live stream on our channel that are like, more pop culture related than anything.
Oh, cool.
So I think that the sky's the limit as far as like what is possible, right? For this. Yeah.
You know, it'd be a funny gimmick if you did do a Batman themed Futility is if like when something bad happens, there's always a little anecdote of how things are fine for Bruce Wayne. Like, Batman runs over your house. You no longer have a house. Meanwhile, Bruce Wayne got da-da-da.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, his stock went up and now he's even more rich.
And there's going to be a Martha card.
Yes.
Like if you get the Martha card, forget about it. Why did you say that name? You got to go back to the
You
beginning.
got to go back and don't go visit. You went to see the movies at the Monarch Theater. What were you thinking? Now your parents are dead.
I remember leaving the screening for that movie just real quick and being like, was I supposed to like that? Like I asked Christian Harloff, like, was that? He's like, I don't know. I was like, okay, all right, that's it.
Hey, listen, who's to say? STS 2084. Also, when do we think they will finally adapt Hungry Hungry Hippos and Don't Wake Daddy into movies? You can't tell me hippos aren't frightening.
They apparently are the most terrifying animals on the planet because they will eat you.
Yes, they will. For no reason, not to eat you, just to fuck you up.
They eat humans all the time.
Yes.
There are more hippo attacks than lions and elephants and tigers and jaguars together.
Yep.
They'll jump out of the water and eat you in a boat.
Are you being serious?
No,
Yes,
no,
I'm
hippos
being
are
serious.
crazy dangerous. Yeah, really, hippos
I
are
have
crazy
a
dangerous.
stupid question.
Hey, listen, there are no stupid questions.
Only stupid answers.
Boom.
Are they Are they in the United States?
At zoos.
Zoos, yeah, but not.
Okay.
I think it's mostly Africa and maybe parts of.
In the water. I could have a shark
Oh.
attack, but I'm not gonna have a hippo attack.
No, unless you go to visit parts of Africa, and I want to say parts of Asia, maybe. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Africa. It says Africa. Hippos. 2 hippo species are found in Africa.
Yeah.
The common hippo, also known as the large hippo, or the East African, occurs in the South Sahara.
Which is also a massive continent. So the odds of you running into a hippo are slim.
Okay. Well, maybe that's what happens that makes it my midlife crisis right now. We don't know.
Who's to say?
60, I might
know
find
those-
myself in Africa.
You have to play Futility to find out.
Correct. Got eaten by. Finally went on that safari. I've been meaning to go my whole life. Got eaten by
By
a
a
hippo.
hippo. Yep.
That's so sad.
Yeah. Like there's the safari collection, right? Amanda desperately wants to go on a safari. I want nothing to do with a safari. I don't like bugs. I don't like wild animals. I know what I like and I know what I don't like.
Yeah.
But there's your safari pack. There's your safari 50 card safari pack.
I feel like one of the extension packs needs to just be a drinking game for me.
Yes, agreed. A drinking game extension pack, 100%.
I also got to say, going back to your safari point, after watching White Lotus, like it feels like any international trip I'm on, I'm probably messing up something. I'm probably doing something wrong.
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely.
We got a question here from Leonard Kim. If you could replace all of the Monopoly pieces with whatever you wanted, what would you choose?
Golf clubs.
No, just each one's a different type of golf club.
Correct.
Putter.
Driver.
Long range. Shorter.
Yeah. Sniper.
This side. This
Guys,
side.
they're numbers. It's
Pointy.
just 9 iron, 8 iron, 7
yeah,
iron.
that's
It's
right.
very
That's
easy.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Heart shape.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
Never know.
It's got that one with the nice little marbled handle. It looks expensive. Roxy, what about you?
Little boobies.
You make
Boob.
boobies?
Yeah, little boobie.
But all of them
You
would
just
be
want-
boobies?
Yeah.
Different colored boobs?
That'd be cool. I like there's been these really like beautiful. Have you guys seen these vases that are like women's breasts and like down to their navels, and they're like these beautiful vases? I always think that those are really cute. So the little boobies.
Boom.
I'll get you. Yeah. I remember being a kid going to antique stores with my parents and seeing like the boob vases and like touching them. I was like, that's enough of that. So
Whoa.
Listen,
It reminds me of role models. Every time I say boobies,
yeah,
I love boobies.
it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
Not enough talk about role models and how great it is. And that
Solid
whole
film.
LARPing
It is
sequence at the end.
best.
Yeah.
It's my favorite, other than Princess Bride. It is my favorite comedy. I love role models.
Wow.
Role
I'm
models
like
is great.
obsessed with that
Wow.
movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of comedies I love all the time and nobody loves like me, the MacGruber TV series is coming out on Peacock pretty soon, guys.
Love
Let's
it.
Go.
Yeah,
Let's
MacGruber
go.
is a stone cold classic. I'm bummed that it didn't make more money in theaters.
Yes.
MacGruber's up there with me with Walk Hard. With like, wait, why wasn't this the most successful movie when it came out? Like, what are we doing?
I think I want to try some of that marijuana.
Amazing. Yeah, super stoked for the MacGruber movie. What's the villain in this
Series.
one?
It's a
The
series.
Yeah, the series. It's in the movie was Kunt, and this one it's
Dieter von Kunt. I don't know who the villain is. I haven't looked. I don't want to be ruined. by
Okay, I'm
anything.
sorry. We won't get into it.
I don't want to know.
We won't get into it, but I think for me, Monopoly, I would want at least one of the pieces to be a hippo.
Okay.
Oh,
Gotta. So we're wrapping up. Josh, anything else you want to tell the kids at home about Futility, and where they can find it and all that?
Just hit Kickstarter, go Futility, the actual game of living. If you look up Futility, it'll pop right up. You can follow me at Twitter and Instagram at Josh Macuga, posting and everything at Good People GPA. Futility, I'm telling you, is the most fun board game you're ever going to play with family, friends, everything in between. We're saying 13 and up. Depends on what kind of parent you are. And I honestly think it's like the next fun in board games. We haven't seen anything like this, and just trying to build a little board game empire with it. That's all.
Well, and I think with the way that Cards Against Humanity brought cards back into the forefront, card games like that back in the forefront, this is a good opportunity to bring board games to people that might not like me. I've kind of checked out of board games. Like this would be a good opportunity for me to come back and play with my friends.
Absolutely, 100%.
And I also like that, 13 and up depends on your parent. If you're a cool parent or if you're a fucking narc, it just depends on it depends on how you parent.
Yup. Wow.
Dark.
Love that.
That's it for the show, everybody. If you were just listening to the podcast of this, you missed out on conversations about the Morrow movie casting, conversation of Doom Patrol Season 3, Episode 1, a little bit of What If, sex education, a bunch of cool stuff. If you want to hear Roxy and I and Josh, he stuck around for a little bit. If you want to hear us talk about all that, check it out on patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. There's various tiers depending on how involved in the show you want to be. And I want to thank everybody that watched the show live. Roxy, before we go, remind the kids at home where they can find you and what you're up to.
Everywhere at Roxy Stryer. Also World Girl Sunday and Wednesdays. If you liked hearing Josh, he's going to be on the show on Wednesday. We gave Dominoes a whirl, and then we're going to be talking more about his board game and stuff like that. Plus this Sunday, Steph and I, because Doreen is gone, we're doing a basic bitch show. So if you want to see us in our Uggs drinking pumpkin spice things, it's going to be really fucking funny. And join us then, youtube.com/TheWorldGirls.
Do that. Check it out. You can find me at DJ Talks Trash everywhere that matters. You can find this show at Only Stupid Answers, but on Twitter,
They ain't got the vowels from stupid.
we're trying different stuff. If you dug it, let us know. Really excited for the next few weeks as we're going to be doing some new things. So please check that out. Please share the show. Please give us 5 stars. All of that stuff. And we'll see you all next week. Bye, everybody.